That was an impressive shot. Did you see that? He fired it. He's pointing that way, right? But the shot went that way. Very impressive. All right, welcome back to the war. And here we are, basically right at Maryland. The British are actually sallying out to attack General Dayton. We do have some stuff to talk about on the campaign map, once it swings around back to our turn again, but I can't really move the camera right now. So just know that things have happened down south. If you see that the flag has changed here, unfortunately, down in the bottom left here. But I will get to that after the battle. Right now, basically, we're facing off against the garrison here at Maryland. Honestly, some of these units look dangerous and others do not, but we must face them all regardless, so let's get right into the battle. All right, welcome to the battle. So just to talk about our own forces for a minute, we have all of our cannons in the center here, all set to fire canister shot as the enemy approaches. We have 4 units of Minutemen on the left and 3 on the right, with 2 units of Rangers on either side as well. The general is just behind the cannons, and then we also have 2 units of cavalry hiding in the trees here and another 2 over here. The enemy sends forward their mounted tribal auxiliaries first, and there's a lot of like inching forward that they kind of do, and they don't come quite within range of the Minutemen. So I start to send out one of the Ranger units there to sort of lure them closer in. And it doesn't exactly work. Oh, this actually is our first battle, I think, using the Rangers. Ah, okay, so it does happen. Something I wanted to point out. Like, you see how they're wearing like a sort of cap right now? And then you zoom and get it in closer, and suddenly they have like a feather and like just a different type of hat, or I want to say it's another cap. Then you zoom back out and they have this cap again. It's like it changes. I don't know why. Anyway, like I said, I start to like inch the Rangers out, and then I inch them out a little more, and I inch them out a little more, and eventually we do start firing at them. It does take a minute, though, because, like, a couple of these guys here, they, you know, take a bit to get over the fortifications here. And every single man has to be across before they'll actually start firing. Now, the Rangers are like the Minutemen in the sense that they will all fire, and not just like the front rank. However, there are definitely differences. There's only half as many of them. But I think they have a longer range and are far more accurate. Certainly that tribal auxiliary unit is going down quite quickly. They lose half their men and they start to run. Now, while that's been happening, these riflemen have actually been coming over to the side here. And they are like the Rangers in that they are all going to fire, and they basically shoot the Rangers in the side there. Now, it's at that moment that the cavalry reveals themselves and charge the riflemen, though not before taking some casualties. These riflemen are definitely a good unit, though I don't think they're any match for some charging cavalry. And with that, they are shattered and start to run. I think the enemy is preparing. Yes, the AI does bring all of its troops out, but slowly and very hesitantly, as you can see. But eventually they'll come to our lines. Now, where did the cavalry go? Oh, here they are. I'm pretty sure we get all of the riflemen. And it looks like the auxiliaries managed to rally. So I actually tell the cavalry to come back and go hiding in the trees again before they're shot by them. I probably could have turned around and charged them, but I didn't think it was worthwhile. It would be better to just have the Rangers shoot them. It isn't exactly what happens, though. Because you see, I actually tell the Rangers at this moment not to fire at will, because I'm worried they'll hit my own cavalry, and I forget to tell them to fire at will again once I put them back in position. Now, this part I actually didn't watch very much during the actual battle, because I didn't realize the infantry were already charging ahead. What we'll do is we'll just kind of watch like this so that I can see when the auxiliaries come back here, but also when this part of the battle begins. Because it's going to begin very soon. Here comes the Hessian line infantry and one of the citizenry units. You can see the auxiliaries getting shot in the background there. And you can see the citizenry getting shot here. I'm surprised this unit is not within range. Oh, they are within range. Yes, the Rangers have finished off that auxiliary unit over there, and now there's basically just a battle along the whole, or most of the length of the line here. I do run across the same problem as I had before, where I need to tell the cannons to stop firing at will, and then tell them to fire at will again so that they pick a new target that's much closer to them. In fact, I think you just heard them there. I gave them the new order to fire at will. There's their other line infantry unit there. They don't seem to be close enough to fire, though. Oh, I think they will be in a moment, though. Oh, yep, they're within range now. I think they're firing at the Minutemen, though I guess they could be firing at the cannons. There's no real fighting along this side. Oh, I have sent out... Oh, crapola. I hope my own... Okay, my cavalry can go over my own entrenchments. I actually forgot about that. The line infantry here are bravely trying to hold the line. Or foolishly trying to hold the line, depending on your point of view. A lot of them are being killed. Oh, I just heard break off. After those last couple of shots there, they decide it's time to leave. So the cavalry have been deployed on both sides. You can see they took some casualties there. Basically, I've sent them just to take out either fleeing units or units that I'm pretty sure they can just immediately send into retreat, like this Firelock Armed Citizenry unit, and this one over here. The cavalry are also out on the right, mostly chasing after units, though they are themselves being pursued by this Hessian line infantry unit, which has rallied and is now running after them. They're not going to catch them, very unfortunately for them. Now, the battle is mostly over at this point. I say mostly because technically not all of their units are either routing... Well, not all of their units are routing. There's these two artillery units here. This one here, and this one here, which is still firing on us, as you can see. Now, I actually didn't realize that unit was there. I didn't notice them during the battle. I did notice this one, though. So what I end up doing is I take one of the cavalry units that was over here. Well, one of them goes after the Firelock Armed Citizenry, and then the other one just passes through here, somewhat with some difficulty, and is actually going to attack this unit, or at least I tell them to attack this unit, but of course they're going to run into this unit as they go by, and so they'll send both of them into retreat. Now, the cavalry on this side have mostly caught all of the enemy that they're going to catch, so I start bringing them back towards our lines, because I'm not too confident of them being able to take out a line infantry unit. Especially one that's not all that badly damaged. It could be worse, could be better, but then we've got full cavalry here. I probably could have taken them on, but you know what? I decided instead to send them after these guys here and just bring the line infantry back over here. They can always be shot. Now, the cavalry is amongst this artillery unit here, and it's at this point that I realize, oh, there was a second artillery unit there, wasn't there? Of course, they are shattered and in retreat, so I do quickly tell the cavalry to go after this unit before they fire off any more shots. And they immediately rout. Now, all that leaves is the Hessians, who... Let's see, where did they go? Okay, here they are. So they start to go after the cavalry, but as you can see, they immediately start to rout after that, apparently deciding that the battle is truly lost. And with that pause there, that is the, you know, I keep accidentally calling it the end of battle screen. At this point, it's just to kill as many of the enemy as possible. Because something that I tend to forget in this campaign, because I'm far too used to Rome 1 and Medieval 2, is once they lose this battle, they don't automatically lose the settlement. Survivors are able to continue garrisoning it. So, killing as many as possible is what we want. And you can see there's cavalry chasing in the background there. There are not too many survivors, though, so we don't need to worry about that. Alright, but anyway, I think you guys get the idea. So, I will just let you go now, and I will see you back on the campaign map. Alright, the enemy is vanquished. Let's see, how many kills did we all get? All right, the cavalry obviously did very well as always. Well, actually, these two units did noticeably better than the others. Though, again, much of that will be routing enemies. The artillery actually did quite a number on the enemy. Having lots of cannons in the center firing canister shot will definitely do that. In fact, I think they have actually killed more than the Minutemen. I mean, not as a whole, I think. Though it might actually be somewhat close. But I mean, like, individual cannon units killed more than the individual Minutemen. Alright, well, let's go ahead and close out of this. Alright, so here we are back on the campaign map, and poor General Dayton has a whole bunch of smoke in his face. As it blows back in his face from the burning city. One thing that I keep having to remind myself this from, you know, the previous two games, Medieval 2 and Rome 1, which I'm much more familiar with. But all of the routers basically go back and they still can fight. So we will have to attack and take the place this turn. I mean, we could wait one more turn, but I don't know if there's any point in waiting. But here is what I was talking about when I said there was stuff to discuss on the campaign map. Because it looks like the Plains Nation actually took the settlement, and so the Cherokee are no more. I did try getting, like, military access to try and pass through the territory to get more British stuff, but they rebuffed my advances. Which I guess is not too surprising, because I think we looked at this last time, but they're actually allied to the British, as are the Iroquois, so maybe I should be watching out for them as well. They also were not interested in trading for the settlement. They actually do have the option. Let's see, Plains. Because they actually have quite a few territories, so they could trade that one away to me if they wanted to. But again, my negotiations were rebuffed. So there may be a war with the Plains Nation very, very soon. Though I really don't want to be honest. It's not that, I guess, that they're some huge, mighty nation, but they are spread out across a wide area. So they've got Virginia here. Then they've got Helico, I think that is. But then they also have Upper Louisiana. They have the Black Hills. They have Northwest Territories. And as you can see, these are all very far away from each other. So it would be kind of annoying to have to fight them all. Even though I guess technically we only need to take as many as it takes for campaign victory. So I probably wouldn't need to actually go all that way. But you see, they would constantly be like around, and there would always be the possibility that an army could like come out of the wilderness and attack me when I wasn't looking. And that would annoy me. I prefer to destroy my enemies and leave nothing behind for them to use to bother us. So the only other thing I guess really to discuss on the campaign map is that General Washington might actually be stuck here for a bit. Last turn when I tried to move him, it was like negative like 10 and 12, or even higher than that. It might have been 12 and 14. And so even exempting the region from taxes didn't really help. So basically trying to get them converted as quickly as possible, training up some local units, building up like public order here, just enough that General Washington can leave. So he might be there for at least a couple more turns there. All right, but anyway, I think that's actually going to be it for now. So I'll let you guys go and I will bring you back as the war continues. All right, welcome back to the war. Honestly, there really isn't anything to talk about on the campaign map that we didn't just discuss a minute ago. So let's just get right to the second battle of Annapolis, where we're going to take the settlement away from the British.
Target under siege, sir.
The reason I have these grenadiers standing behind the army, even though they're not really needed, but see, what I'm wondering is... See, I'm not too familiar with many of Empire Total War's mechanics, as I think expressed in the past. I'm actually wondering how exactly reinforcements work. If I attack with this 20 stack, full army here, how exactly do these guys get onto the battlefield? Do they wait, as in past games, for, units to die or retreat before they can come onto the battlefield? Are they able to come onto the battlefield anyway? So I'm just, they're just standing there to test it. They're not, like, really, strictly speaking, going to be part of the battle. I mean, unless they do come onto the battlefield right away, in which case, I guess they would be. But anyway, let's just get right into the battle. All they've got left is the leftovers of their citizenry and the leftovers of their provincial cavalry, so this should be quite short. All right, guys, welcome to the battle. And I just want to see something for myself here. Basically, the cannons are firing at the walls, and they're about to take out this bit of wall here. And that takes out all of the citizenry. Oh, no. Oh, the humanity of it all. Anyway, welcome to the battle. But basically, I had my cannons firing to take out these two bits of wall here. And in the battle, as I pushed my troops forward, I realized there was no one on the walls, which seemed weird to me, because I could have sworn that I had seen citizenry up there. And then I saw the bodies down here. And I looked at the map here and could see that there was only the one unit on there, and it was the cavalry here in the center of the fort. I was like, oh, our cannons must have taken them all out. And so that's what I was checking for just now. I wanted to see if once that bit of wall fell, if all of the men died. And yes, they did. There's, I think there's more of them down here. Yes. So at a stroke, they are all dead except for the cavalry. Basically, I'm now pushing my Minutemen forward and my Rangers. The Minutemen are going to line up here and the Rangers here. The idea was that they were going to trade shots with the citizenry, who I assumed were going to come down the ramp and start doing their thing, but obviously that's not going to happen. Also, I very foolishly didn't check to see if the Grenadiers were even reinforcing us on the campaign map, and I don't think they are. So, yeah, it's either they are reinforcing us, but we have to lose a unit, kind of like we did in the past Total War games, Medieval 2 and Rome 1, or there weren't reinforcements at all, and they're just sitting behind us on the campaign map. Anyway, the battle is very nearly over, and you might think that we're going to have to push forward to go and get that cavalry unit, but as you can see, they are actually moving of their own accord. They're going to come right out the exit here, and they're going to be shot. They're all going to die the instant they step hoof outside of that wall. We'll just sit between these two units here and watch the slaughter. Because it is truly a slaughter. It's not like they reach our lines or anything. And just like that, they are all dead. And with that, the battle is over, so I will see you guys back on the campaign map. Alright, well, here we are back on the campaign map. I noticed I did lose a couple of guys. Who did I lose? I think it was, let's see, the artillery and a couple of Minutemen. I think, you know, while we were shooting at the wall, I actually do think that their cannons, the ones that were mounted on the wall, did get a couple of shots off, so I'm guessing that's where those casualties came from. Alright, but anyway, that battle was even shorter than I thought it would be. I thought we'd have to do some fighting against the citizenry, and I actually also didn't expect the cavalry to just come charging out so that they can be shot like that. It's all rather convenient. But anyway, the settlement is ours. General Dayton has won. Now we're going to have to go to war with the Plains Nation. Again, I don't want to, and I'll probably try one more bout of diplomatic negotiations, trying to get the settlement off of them. If I can't get the settlement off of them, then maybe I'll try and get military access, and we can like try again later, like taking other settlements to get enough to complete the campaign. But we still need this one to complete the campaign. It's one of our objectives. So if I can take maybe enough other settlements, I can trade it off of them. You know, if I just offer them enough money or, you know, enough settlements, enough something to just get them to give it to me, basically. But anyway, I don't think there is anything else to discuss. I think I said we already discussed everything that really was happening on the campaign map. So anyway, I will just let you guys go, and I will bring you back as the war continues. All right, welcome back to the war. I must apologize in advance if I seem at all exasperated, because this is actually the second time I'm recording this section due to a power outage that caused me to lose the first recording. So everything I'm about to say and do is actually something that I've already said and already done, so I do apologize if I, like, gloss over something thinking that I had already said it. Or if I just sound exasperated, because that is certainly going to happen. But anyway, let's get right on to it. So General Dayton is now attacking Williamsburg, and you may be surprised to hear that I actually did not declare war on the Plains Nations. They actually declared war on me, much to my surprise. Now, for allies, they actually have the Iroquois and Great Britain. Obviously, Great Britain we're already at war with, and I'm guessing they must have... what's the word for it? They must have declined. The Iroquois must have declined to join the war, because we're not at war with them. So that's great. Also, they do still seem to be allies, though. Let's see, right? Yeah, they're still allied with Great Britain and with the Plains Nations. Now, that does bother me a little bit, though, because I assume that they could very well join at any moment. Basically, the Plains Nations have done what the Inuit did, where they just sort of attacked me out of the blue, and so now I'm a little worried that the Iroquois will do the same thing. So now that George Washington is able to leave Rupert's Land, basically we have enough of a garrison there, enough buildings have been built up, basically public order is just barely enough that we can leave. But we're going to have George Washington basically come all the way down here and basically stand and stare menacingly at the Iroquois before they attack, because I feel like that attack is coming. It may even come before he even gets there, but basically he's going to get there, and he's got these 3 cannons there to join him. So his army will basically be the exact same as General Dayton's army. Now, I'm also working on putting together a third army. We have General Leslie Hogarth here, and he's actually going to have a bit of a different army, or at least, I guess I should say the army will be very similar in types of units, but will be different in terms of, I guess, the level of unit available. First off, he is actually getting some of these long riflemen, so he won't have rangers, he'll have these guys instead. And instead of the Minutemen, he'll have line infantry. Instead of the provincial cavalry, he'll have the regiments of horse. And he'll also have the 12-pounder foot artillery, which is actually the same. Basically, the artillery and his own bodyguard, of course, will be the same, but all the other units are receiving an upgrade. Basically, the idea here is that General Dayton, once he takes Williamsburg, is going to continue down south. He's going to attack Charleston and Savannah, maybe St. Augustine. We'll see. Because basically, we're actually close to the end of the campaign already. I mean, I guess that's kind of expected considering how small our victory conditions are, but we need to take Virginia, Carolinas, and Georgia. Those are settlements necessary to achieve our victory conditions. But then we still need one more after that. And so it just kind of depends on what happens here. General Dayton might take Florida, but General Hogarth may very well have also taken a settlement by that point, because the idea here is that while Dayton heads south, Hogarth will head west and just defeat any units that get in his way and head towards Helico. Or at least that's how I'm going to pronounce it. And of course, there's British territory right next door here in Cherokee territory. So they're also our enemies. So, you know, that's another couple of possible settlements there. It also depends on whether the Iroquois, of course, actually declare war or not, if there's going to be any fighting up there. But anyway, the point is that there's many possible settlements that could be taken in addition to the 3 that are necessary for victory here. All right, and I don't think there's anything else here on the campaign map to discuss. Again, I do apologize if I'm skipping over something. It's just that I've already done this, and so I don't remember what I've already done necessarily. Or I feel that I've already done it, and so I don't need to mention it again. So, let's see here. Oh, right. The army hasn't changed. 2 cannons, a whole bunch of warrior society units, a couple of medicine men, 1 armed tribesman, and a bunch of lancers. So let's just get right into the battle. All right, welcome to the battle. And we have our troops arranged back here, and just as a reminder, this is actually the second time that I'm fighting this battle. So I kind of do have some foreknowledge of, well, some bad tactics that I used the first time, but also just the general terrain of the battle. For one thing, I actually had my artillery all grouped together in one large group in the center with Minutemen flanking on either side. Sorry, just watching that Lancer unit get shot there for a bit. But basically, I now have the artillery interspersed amongst the infantry at intervals, rather than as just one large group. The reason for that is because the first time this battle occurred, I actually lost a fair amount of my artillery. Well, the crews, I should say. I didn't lose any unit entirely, but a lot of them died because I thought that having them all bunched up with canister shot firing downrange would be enough to keep them safe, but I think that's only true in smaller battles against much fewer men. Because basically it did kind of work at first, but they managed to get enough units like charging them to the point that they were able to get to the artillery, despite my best efforts. Now, I think having them interspersed like this amongst the infantry is better. I haven't said a word about the battle really thus far, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory what's going on. They keep charging their cavalry forward, and they keep getting shot by the Minutemen and the Rangers, and the artillery firing canister shot. And so they're actually going to lose most of their cavalry this way. That I also did decide to move cavalry to the right and left flanks. They were actually just gathered around the general here, but I've moved them off to the left and the right just so that they're closer to the action, as it were. So they can get out there and like chase down routers, for example, much easier. And here comes the chief and his bodyguard right up the middle here. And I'm sure it shocks you to hear that they're running away. I mean, you can hardly blame them after what just happened. That was an impressive shot. Did you see that? He fired it. He's pointing that way, right? But the shot went that way. Very impressive. All right, so having lost, I think, the entirety of their cavalry. Yeah, it looks like it. Having lost the entirety of their cavalry, the infantry have been having second thoughts and are now kind of milling about here in the town. So what I do is on the left flank here, I send these 2 cavalry units here down into the town. The objective is to get the artillery, who you can see are right here, arranged in such a way that they can't do a lot of damage. Obviously, this one here on the end has been firing pretty much the whole time, and they do actually have a decent view of our lines. So I think they've been doing some damage. In fact, if we zip on over here really quick, I think they actually took out, yes, one of the crews that drag the cannon around. So anyway, cavalry is just going to charge down here and let them have it. We do need to be somewhat careful because there are some warrior societies over here. They're not really moving quickly enough, though, to stop the cavalry. So we'll have our job done before the infantry gets over here. As you can see, they are now shattered and routing, but we don't have the cavalry chase them. We drag them back here because the infantry is coming, even if they are coming rather slowly. And so we just have the cavalry, both units, just retreat. Not all the way back to the lines, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have them, like, strike out and attack again. So I just kind of have them sit over there for now. Now, on the right flank, the infantry has ever so slowly been marching forward. I mean slowly. It takes them a while to get here. But I had this idea to send my cavalry out on the right flank to go get that artillery piece. Now, it says they're firing, but I don't know that they've actually fired a shot this whole battle. I think the cavalry on that side might have been within range briefly, and that's maybe why it says firing here. But they're actually out of range of our troops over there. So just to make sure that they, you know, die before getting to fire off any shots, I'm just going to send the cavalry out there to go get them. But here's where another piece of knowledge from the first time I fought this battle came into... well, came in handy. Because you see, there's actually at least one medicine man unit, or medicine men unit over here, and there might be 2. They're just hiding, and you can't see them right now. So I do have the cavalry charge over there, but I'm aware that there's probably units hiding here, so I just send them close enough so that the medicine men reveal themselves, and then I start to pull back. Alright, this unit is ever slowly but surely getting closer. Honestly, this is probably unwise. They're out of range, obviously, of the Minutemen and the Rangers. But I think they actually come within range of the Rangers. Oh, yep, here. There they go. Ow. And that shatters them and they start running. That's actually my own cavalry. They were still behind, or in front of our lines, and at this point I decide, you know what, it's time to pull them back. Because infantry does start to attack various points of the line, and we want to make sure that the cavalry is not caught out. Now, over here, the cavalry has revealed the medicine men. And it looks like, yeah, there are 2 units there. So I pull them off and have them go back this way instead. Just let the medicine men, you know, basically run towards our lines. And once they're far away enough, the cavalry can then strike the artillery without having to worry very much. I believe the cannons are doing that thing where they're still firing at units even though they're out of range. The shot like went along this way even though the unit is a little out of range right now. They're not out of range of the Rangers. Well, this unit isn't. I did at various times do what I think I did in the last couple of battles, where I would tell the cannons to stop firing at will and then tell them immediately to start firing at will again, just so that they would actually target a unit that was within range. The reason I wasn't doing it right at that moment is because I think I was paying more attention to what was happening over here. The medicine men are quite far away at this point, so I thought, well, it's time to have the cavalry charge in there and take out the artillery. Which they have basically done. I'm not entirely sure what the point of this is. It's almost like the AI is lining up the units in just like this one long line, but it's not in a way that's facing my lines. It's like on an angle to my lines, and so the units here on the left flank, as they try to like assume their place in line, they're getting shot. Either that or they were just waiting for the medicine men, because now that they're here, they actually really start to push with the infantry. Well, somewhat. They're going on a bit of an angle down the line here, which is rather unwise. As you can see, more infantry are coming out of the trees here to push forward. Now, these guys are shattered, but they're not running back, and I think that's because my cavalry is now over here. The idea was that I was just going to have them attack the routers as they fled, though it looks like the medicine men are coming for them. But I do actually have the cavalry charge them to see if maybe we could get them to run. I did also peel off these 2 Minutemen here, just so that they can assist with this part of the line, because no one was actually being attacked over here anyways. And with that, they are sent into retreat. The cavalry has charged the medicine men, like I said. I do decide, though, that the medicine men actually are holding their position here, and it looks like they're not going to just immediately rout. But I do pull the cavalry out once I realize that. Oh, also, they were getting reinforcements from a Warrior Society unit, and I definitely didn't want my cavalry to get caught. Now, over on the left here, they actually do have some more infantry units. Well, that one's shattered, but this one is charging forward, so I do realize this in time and pull these 2 Minutemen units to actually reassume their positions here in line. Meanwhile, the cavalry over here, as they retreat, I pushed the Rangers forward to give them a little cover. But of course, now the enemy's getting a little close to them, so I actually pull the Rangers back to the line as well, just so that they're not caught. More firing directly into the ground. Good job. And there they go. So now there's a medicine men unit there. But there's also actually one in the trees over here that I didn't actually notice right away. Fortunately, I did eventually, though, and I actually pull the Rangers back to face them more directly. As you can see, different parts of the line are getting attacked, but they're not by enough units to actually cause any severe damage, or even really necessarily reach our lines. I think this Medicine Men unit is actually the last unit that's not routing. And so once the Rangers fire on them, the battle is basically over. Oh. They're actually routing after that, like, 1 or 2 shots. I guess, I mean, it's still technically the Rangers shooting at them that causes them to rout, but it was only like 1 or 2 shots. And you did see the pause there. Basically, the battle is over, and so now it's time for the cavalry to charge forward and kill off as many of them as possible. And that's on both sides. You can see on the left here, the cavalry has left the lines and is charging out to attack the enemy. I also limber up the cannons at this point. Mostly because it seemed like they were still firing, even after I told them to stop. I seem to remember that was something I ran into before, and so I just limbered them up to make sure that they don't actually fire while the cavalry is out here. Don't want any of our brave cavalrymen being slaughtered for no reason. I mean, we don't want them being slaughtered at all, but I mean, you know, this is war. There's always the possibility of my poor cavalry getting caught and killed. I'm pretty sure these guys get stuck for some time trying to kill exactly one guy who's over here somewhere. Oh, there he is. It's always one guy. Like cavalry units just struggle to kill the last guy in a unit. And it's because like they sort of like run beside him, almost like escorting him, just kind of inching closer and closer. But then of course he stops and changes direction to run away from them. And turn in a different direction. But then even when they get close, like, they don't actually attack him, or at least not necessarily right away. They just see, they run right past him. Guys, where are you going? He's over here! He's over here! He's a... Turn around! I mean, they do get him eventually, but I think it takes a lot longer for these units to get killed off when I'm not, like, paying attention to them. Simply because the cavalry can't, like, kill that last guy on their own. At least not in a very, like, efficient way. Oh, okay, it looks like they just got him. Alright, where are some of the last units? I guess... Oh, probably, oh, those guys are gone. Off the map. Okay, that's probably like the last unit over there that's actually still mostly on the map. But I think you guys have got the point and have seen enough. So I'll let you guys go now, and I will meet you back on the campaign map. All right, so here we are back on the campaign map. A glorious victory. Very different from the way the first battle went. I mean, it was still a glorious victory. But, well, I guess I talked about it during the battle, the different tactics I used, so we don't need to harp on it any further. All that matters is that Williamsburg is now ours. Let's see, plus... Okay, yep, excellent. All right, well, that was the only battle for this turn. And yeah, we already discussed the campaign map and everything, so I guess I will just let you guys go, and I will bring you back as the war continues.